Hi guys, welcome back to my reading nook. It is my favorite place in the world, and today I am super excited to talk about something that I absolutely love, and I've been putting this video on hold for like the longest period of time, but it is about journaling. And I love journaling. I love everything that it does to me, it brings me, and I am so excited to talk more about it and tell you how how I sort of discovered my love for it, what my journey has been through it, and just speak more about about the whole process of journaling, so it may help you as well if that is a habit that you want to pick up, or if you just want to know more about it. So if it's something that interests you, then this is the video for you. So let's get straight to it. I want to talk about how I started journaling. I'd say one of the biggest reasons that I started journaling was because of my friends back in school, right? Like back in, I think, 5th grade-ish, I had a friend who also used to journal every now and then, and we didn't really understand like the meaning of journaling. I think we were trying to copy the characters we read in books, especially Mary-Kate and Ashley. It sounds so stupid when I say it now, but while growing up, That's So Raven and Mary-Kate and Ashley were like a huge part of our lives, right? And they used to journal. They used to have these secret like diaries and notebooks and all of that, which was so interesting, was so intriguing. So that is, I think, what we were trying to recreate, right? Having our own secret sort of lives. And that's where it really started off. I still remember my first journal. I got it from Shoppers Stop, and it was this tiny little book with like a lock in it, and it had this really nice citrusy smell, and I can remember it so clearly even now. One day I got so scared about like my parents finding it, because I'd written a bit about my crush, that I actually ended up throwing the book away. So sadly I don't have my first journal, but I do have the second one, which can you see this? It's this really old book from Disneyland, it doesn't really have much written in it, to be honest, but it takes me back to a nice time where I used to like crib about small things like hating math and things like that, problems that I thought were huge back then. So it really kind of started off from here properly, and over time I've sort of had different journals come and go. I started journaling more seriously when I moved to Manipal, right? Up until then, when I was in school, I was sort of caught up with a million other things. I really didn't have the time to sort of sit down and write about stuff, and also I used to sort of think about my own privacy a little bit. I was very scared that like if I wrote a bit much, then my parents would sort of read it. They were not such people. They would just let me write, but at the same time it was like an internalized fear that I had. So when I moved to Manipal, my mom gave me this, I don't know if you can see it properly, yeah, so this small notebook with like a graduation cap on it. I don't know if you can see it properly. It's now fading away, but this was just to sort of keep my memories intact. And this was the first time I journaled like properly in my first year of college. So you can see there are like a couple of things in it, all these small notes that my roommate used to leave me when we were in first year of college, and college fest passes and things like that, and really just a lot of like cribbing about how I'm feeling, pages and pages of it, right? So that was where it really started. The habit solidified in college, and over time I just kept adding more and more journals to my collection, and I have them like one color per year, and some of them are really fat because a lot happened that year. I think I have a lot kept in, and the most intense sort of journal that I have is probably this one, where it was very less like a collection of things but more of like rants. I ranted in this journal, and in every like journal that I open up, things keep falling out, right? I keep collecting stuff from everywhere of that year. So usually it's around like one journal a year, and I tend to buy my journals from the same company called My Paperclip. I really like their books. I love the paper. It just feels so nice writing in it. And so I tend to buy different colors for every year from this company. So that's kind of been my writing and journaling journey over the years, just to set some context. And I want to divide this video into 3 bits, right? Now that my backstory is done, there's 3 left, which is why I journal and how you can journal in the way that, that would probably help you the best. So I'm going to start off with the first part, which is why I journal. So I think I've journaled enough over the past couple of years to actually sit down and make this video and talk about how, it has benefited me and what is it that I have gotten out of journaling, right? Why is it that I journal? And I want to start off with a couple of points. The biggest one being the amount of clarity you get when you journal, right? Not only is it a great way to sort of maintain your memories and, it's a great archive of your memories. In the end of the day, that's what journaling really is. But at the same time, you can sort of revisit the moments that have happened and see how you've grown as a person. Like if certain things happen over a period of time, you can go and check your reactions as to how you've changed, how you react to certain problems or how you react to certain situations over a period of time. And sometimes you will notice this really defining moment, which is something that you wouldn't have acknowledged or realized at that given moment, but when you revisit a journal after a couple of months or years, you will realize that that is a defining moment in your life, right? So writing about it, writing about your the way you feel or how you want to approach something, or having a monologue with yourself, is a way to kind of get a lot of clarity in life. The second and the most given reason is that it is a great stress buster. It's like a burn book, except that it is also a venting point and you're the only person with an access to that burn book. So it does help with a lot of stress management. You are literally puking everything that you want to say out on this paper, and then that's it, right? Just vent it all out. The empty pages sort of open up and you can put it all out there. Just forget about it and move on. The third thing is that not only does it help you sort of understand your experiences better and learn from your experiences, also makes you a more empathetic person. It also helps you develop sympathy. Because say you had an argument with someone, right? When you are journaling about it, you are talking from your perspective, but also talking about what the other person said. Now, when you do that, you have a moment to reflect. And you have a moment to think about why that person may have said what they did, what they said, or why they did what they did, right? And this sort of helps you gain different perspectives in life, right? And the more perspectives you gain in life, the more sympathetic you get as a person. You become more understanding of other people. And I think that's a great quality to have, and that is a quality that anybody can develop. It does help you a lot, to empathize with other people, and I think that's something that that's one of the bigger benefits of journaling. The fourth reason is that it helps you with your communication skills. And when I say that, I mean it in a way where you write so much that you tend to articulate better, and that will not only reflect in your writing, but it'll help you sort of put your thoughts together, streamline your thoughts, and extend it to your friendships, to your relationships, or to your, general life. Because your mind becomes more and more decluttered as you go, it sort of helps you put things in place. And when you can articulate better, you can have better conversations with people, you can communicate better. And I think the fifth and the biggest reason, are we in the fifth reason? I think we are. Is that it really holds you accountable, right? It holds you accountable because maybe there is a certain goal or a certain thing that you want to pursue. You've noted it down in your journal, right? If you don't do it, it's fine if you don't do it, but if you want to do it and you don't do it, you are held accountable by something that you have written. It is a past self of you asking you where you are in life. And I think that sort of accountability, self-accountability, is something that helps you grow as a person. The sixth reason is that if you are in a creative field, like the way I am, right? I work in media, so it is an inherently creative field. It boosts your creativity like insane. Having a conversation with yourself is something that really helps your thinking. It opens up your thinking, and nothing like writing it down and actually giving yourself some time to think, that impacts your creativity. It is such a big help to have if you're in a creative field. And sometimes you can pick up insights and you can pick up moments from what you've written down and apply to your job, apply to your own campaign or your thought process, for a certain idea or for a certain project that you're working on. So I think that is one of the bigger benefits of journaling. These are some of the reasons I journal, and there are a lot more reasons, but these are the bigger ones, right? The bigger ones which have helped me change as a person, which have helped me sort of navigate myself through life. So now that I've spoken about why I journal, I want to talk about how I journal. There are multiple ways of journaling. There is no right way of journaling. I think that is what you should remember when you start, is that there might be a certain way of journaling that helps somebody else, but you might absolutely hate it. That doesn't mean there isn't a right journal for you. There is, of course there is, and I will talk about it in the next part, but I'll tell you how I journal. I'm a writer, right? So if you look at any of my journals, I tend to sort of write a lot. I don't know if you can see it, but I just go off, right? I don't know why you can't see it, it just looks white, but anyway, point is, I write a lot, and I am a writer. I enjoy venting it out in the form of writing, right? And I write about everything. Some people end up drawing, some people end up scrapbooking, some people end up sketching, some people have one-liners, right? I am a writer, so I pretty much write the whole thing out about how I'm feeling. The second thing is that I do not journal every day. I would never be able to journal every day. But what I do is that I sort of journal when I have something important to say, or when I'm overthinking, or when there is something that's bothering me, or when something really happy has happened, or maybe there is something that I am thinking about, maybe work or life or society or things like that, which are just general everyday topics that you would discuss with a friend, right? That is how I journal. I do not sit down and write about, dear whatever. Each of my journals have a name, but dear whatever, this is what I did today, da 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 da. And that's not how I journal at all. It's just when I really feel like I have something to say, or something that I want to talk to myself about, that is when I go ahead and journal. The third thing is that, and this is the most important thing, is that I'm so honest with myself in my journal. Like, if I am in the wrong, or if I have done something that really bothers me and I'm ashamed of it, I will not hold back. I will actually be supremely honest about what I did as well. We have a general tendency as human beings to sort of go a little easy on ourselves, right? And we kind of create narratives or create stories based on what would make us look better. This will come when you are talking to yourself as well. You will try to put yourself in a better better light, or you'll try to put yourself in a better position than you actually were in reality. And this is something that only comes with practice, but you have to be supremely honest with yourself when you're journaling. And you just, if you want to overthink it, just do it. Just don't put barriers on yourself, and don't lie to yourself. If there is a certain way you feel, put it out there. Tell the truth to yourself. That is how and I learned that the hard way, because I used to edit out a lot when I journaled, and sort of that was what I used to do in real life as well. I used to put myself in a better position than I am, and make myself the better person, right? And in a lot of ways, you are the bad person. In a lot of situations, you are the bad person. There is no other way to look at it. And I think it becomes really important for us to sort of understand that and not lie to ourselves. So just be super honest about yourself and call it out. If you've done something wrong, just call it out. You will feel much better later on. Now the third part, which is how you can journal, and this is the most exciting part for me, because I can actually show you the different ways of journaling. Let me start off with the easier ones, right? There are things called one-line journals, and I hope you can see it, right? So these are journals, and this is a Q&A journal that lasts for 5 years. So every day of the year, why are things falling out of my book all the time? But anyway, every day of the year, I don't know if you can see it. No, I don't think you can. But anyway, you have a question prompt in the top, right? So for Feb 26, it is name one item that you can't throw out. Or for April 6th, it was what was the last takeout meal you ordered. So there are questions which you can answer over a period of 5 years, and your answer changes every year. And it is such a nice thing to see how, how certain questions get different answers every single year. Life changes so much in a year, right? So this I highly recommend for beginners. There are other journals in the similar way as well. There are quotes of the day, there are gratitude journals where you can write one line a day about what you're thankful for, right? So start small. Don't sort of get into absolute journaling right in the beginning. Start small, start with something easy, and it will act as a nice segue into actual full-fledged journaling. The second thing, and I know a friend of mine actually does this, is that she has a dream journal. So if you are someone who dreams constantly, if you're someone who has very fascinating dreams, then you can actually wake up and write it down. The moment you wake up, just sit down, write down a page about it, and maybe then later on you can go back and sort of analyze what it is that you were feeling, or why you felt a certain way, or why you might have dreamt about certain things. So it's like actually trying to figure out what is happening in your subconscious. Also, just a bit more about gratitude journals. If you are going through a pretty negative phase in your life, right, and you feel like everything is against you, you feel like you're just not at a good place, then gratitude journals do help a lot, because write down about 5 things every day that made you thankful. And it could be something just as simple as having food on my plate, or having a roof above my head, or today a friend of mine said something nice to me. I'm really thankful that I have my parents in my life. Just writing these things down will help you sort of understand that things are not as bad as they seem, which is sometimes a reminder that we need, especially when times are so hard outside and people are going through a lot, physically and mentally. So I think if you are in a bad place, then do consider gratitude journaling. Just write down 5 things you like every day, and it will really, really help. So moving on, the third way of journaling, we're still in number 3, right? I think so, is art journals. If you're someone who's very visual as a person, and you would rather express something visually, than write about it, then nothing like art journals. Just get yourself a nice sketchbook, just like an empty nice sketchbook. I don't know if you can, this is like absolutely empty, because I didn't want to show my sketches. It's a bit meh. So anyway, this is an empty journal that I have, which I do plan on using soon. You can either have like a scrapbook, stick whatever you want in it, or you can sketch it out. If you're feeling really angry, maybe draw yourself with like a gun or something, I don't know. If that helps, then it helps, right? If you're not like using it in real life but drawing it out, then hey man, it's not such a bad thing, right? So if you enjoy visual aspects of life, and if that is your way of expressing, then just sketch how you feel every day, and trust me, it will take on some beautiful forms as you go on, and you will be very interested with what comes out of it, right? The fourth thing, and I actually don't have this, but I have seen this with a couple of people I know, is that they have hobby journals. So if you don't want to talk about your day, right, you don't want to talk about yourself, you are completely fine not revisiting your day, it's absolutely okay. But if you have a hobby that you follow, right, maybe gardening or painting or running or something of that sort, and you want to talk about how you felt that day when you were engaging with the hobby. So for example, if you are a runner, right, you go running every day, and there are certain interesting thoughts that came into your mind when you're running, or you saw certain interesting things happen, you could just write about that bit, right, or how your run actually went. Or if you are someone who gardens, then maybe you could write about the progress of your plants, and how maybe something died on you, or maybe something just came out better than what you expected. Just keep a track of your hobbies, right? That is a great way to sort of understand what is happening with something that you love, and can also act as a great segue into actual full-fledged journaling. And another thing about hobby journaling is that because it happens so consistently over a period of time, you have to be really patient about it, right? You will see growth, you will see patience, and you will see how you care about certain things, or how certain things take form. And the biggest thing that comes out of it is discipline, right? Because if you're into something like gardening or running, you will have to do it every single day, right? You will have to engage with it every single day, and having that written down is a way to be like, it's a great motivator on the days that you're not feeling as motivated or you're not feeling as disciplined. In the end, there is great accountability. Not only is it tracking the progress of what's going on with your hobbies, but it is also a way to sort of be accountable to your hobbies. If there is a goal that you set for yourself, it's a great way to maintain that goal. The fourth way, fifth way, I have genuinely lost count. So I'm just gonna say number 5. And this is especially for people who are in the creative field. This is something that I got recently as well, and it is a Q&A journal a day for writers, right? So there are 365 questions for creative exploration, and each day you have a story prompt. So for example, on say 12th of August, there is, when you think of the term unconditional love, what comes to your mind? Try to be as brief as possible in your answer. 26th April, think of stories that use a piece of artwork as a character itself. For example, Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch or The Picture of Dorian Gray. To come up with an artwork that could inspire great friction. What did you choose and why? Oh my god, the more I actually open and read about it, the more I want to start right away. Because there are certain really interesting things in this book. If a deceased relative were to appear to you as a bird, what bird would that person be and why? Do you have an answer for that? But even if you're outside the creative field, I think now that I've seen what sort of questions are inside, I think if you are someone who struggles with what to write, then just pick up this journal. It has like the best fucking prompts. Now that the more I read of the prompts in this journal, I think honestly anyone should pick it up, especially people who are new to journaling and don't really know what to write. Every day there are some beautiful prompts. For example, March 4th is write an apology as a short poem. So I think this is something that you will absolutely love. I feel like I'm going to start this today, to be honest. Now the final kind of journaling, which is what I personally follow, is get a plain old notebook and let it all out. I have found this to be the best way to journal for me, because there is no prompt, nothing holding me back, right? I can just come on here and talk about anything, write about anything, talk about the way I feel, and just let it all out and empty my system and really get in a conversation with myself without having any distractions, and go on with it for sometimes hours together, right? So I think this form of journaling is a bit hard because you really have to reach that point where you've had enough practice with talking to yourself, right? Or enough practice with writing, because it genuinely hurts your hand. And I want to talk about something a bit more personal here, is that every year when I start journaling, I make sure that I do write till the very last page. And most of the years the books do get filled up. Like if you see any of my other books as well, most of it have been completely filled up, and they are they have seen the entire year sort of pan out. But there was this one particular time in between where I was just going through a very hard time in my personal life, and a very close family member of mine was diagnosed with a very serious illness, and it was a time where I was finding it very hard to cope, and at the same time writing about it felt like I was reliving it over and over and over again, right? And as much as journaling has sort of helped me deal with my everyday life and everyday emotions, that was the one period of time where I just didn't want to deal with how I felt at all, right? I was very happy not revisiting it. I was very happy with just going on with my day and not having to live through the low moments of it. In that particular year, as you can see, my journal is fairly empty. I think I've just written I'm sorry about things falling out every time, but I have written a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, yeah. But at the same time, the rest of the journal is just straight up empty. Anyway, the rest of the journal is straight up empty, and at that point, an empty journal is what helped me, right? Not journaling is what helped me, because I did not want to go through those moments again. And I think the point that I'm trying to make is that, journaling is such a great habit to have. It's almost like a gift that you can give yourself, simply because of how much it helps, right? Simply because of how honest you can be with yourself, or how you can have a conversation with yourself without any boundaries. And to reach that point is truly a gift, genuinely. But if you are someone who will not benefit from revisiting certain aspects of your life or revisiting your own day or moments, then it's okay, you know. That is why my orange journal helps, because it's like a reminder that as much as I love journaling, sometimes it's okay to take a break and not write about anything, right? And now I have found my way back into journaling. I have actually, after a year-long break from it, I have now started writing again, and it has started helping me again. I think I am in a better place mentally, so I'm able to journal more freely. Yeah, I feel like I've like reached the end of the video, and now I can see sunshine sort of creeping in and falling on me as well. So I think this is my cue to end the video, and do let me know what you think of this video, and if it helped you, if you know, you already journal, what is your journey, how has it helped you? Do let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions in general or about journaling, then feel free to comment or reach out to me on my DMs on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.